Aloha, bitches. I'm in Hawaii. Alright, guys. Hove here, and I'm going to do a Litecoin update for you. It's been quite a while since I've done an update, just because I was moving all my shit to Hawaii, which was a task in and of itself, so haven't been able to do much charting. But now that I'm finally settled, go ahead and do a video update for you. So the good news, since I've been gone, it looks like crypto has just been going sideways anyways. There's been a couple moves, but not much to write home about. Now, this is the last post from Twitter that I gave you guys before I left. I said we had the one in here. We're going to look for this 2, and then it's going to rip up to this $62 level for this third, and then we'll see what we get up here to complete this move. And lo and behold, look where we are. We did get that 2, ripped up for that third to the tick of that algo target. That should come as no surprise to any of you. But regardless, I'm going to walk you through why I had this trade set up and what the deal is with this channel and this trigger line. Now, this was a pretty textbook setup, in my opinion. You have this third in. We're looking for the fourth here. You get an expanded flat here to finish the fourth, just a little shy of the 50. Right where we look for a fourth, between the 382 and the 50. So it ticks off these Vegas waves really nicely as well. But there was some confusion with people, some followers of mine, and also myself, which was this the A, we're getting an expanded flat for the B and C, or was this the top here, and now we put in the A, we were going to retrace for some B, and come down for the C. And I mean, I was leaning towards this. That's why I posted that chart. This was all super confusing, tons of wicks, so it was hard to tell exactly. But what gave it away to me was this move right here. If you look on that on any time frame above a 15-minute, that looks like a three-way. You get A, B, C. Simple. So that's what made me lead to an expanded flat here. You get the A, expansion for the B, and now rip down for that C. So the next thing that happened is we got this rip up, and we're roughly here, I think, when I said I was calling it a 2 here. Let me check real quick. Yeah, we were starting to come down. All right, cool. Alright, we're starting to come down. We're roughly here, I think. So let's take a look. Now, before I pull that fib, the reason why I had this channel line is because if we are still in a correction downward, this channel line will hold this price action to get us to go downward. So this was like, okay, if we break up here, this will be a good area to test before we rip off, because this broke that geometry. Same thing with this trigger line. We got the trigger line going from the bottom here, which is our 2, through our 4, and just extend it out. But if it breaks down here and doesn't get immediately back in, or doesn't retest and go down, then we're going down, obviously. So this showed you a nice little apex here where we knew price action was going to happen. There was no clarity of what this count was. I mean, to me, it was a pretty clear ABC down. And then what did we have here? Where is that? So we get that ABC down, and then we're kind of just, we don't know what price action is going to come next. So what you're going to do here, I mean, we've done this 100 times before, but you're going to pull the fib from the start through that 1, and look, it goes to the tick of the 786. Now, this is a pretty textbook trade. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. You get the 1 up, an expanded flat for this C. Now these wicks were crazy, I'll give you that, but if you're laddered in through from the 618 through the 786, you caught this whole move, and that move was, let me see, from the bottom to that very top, that was 17%. That's a nice little trade, and this is a good trade setup. If you didn't ladder in here and you saw this weird price action of it go up and then it goes down, but then it pops right back up here, that should have been a sign for you as well. And look at this trend line. If you have these apex, this is geometry that the price action will move with. So you can see it tests the 0.236 and this trigger line before it rips up. That was the real rip. So if you were on top of this and you didn't have your ladders in, this was the retest that you could have gotten an entry on. But anyways, this third was meaty. I mean, it went to the tick of this algo target, which is no surprise. The way you should trade this is you're trading this third. I wouldn't hold for all this to see if we get another kick up for a fifth, because the way I personally trade, and I tell members all the time, the best trade setups are 3s, Cs, and Es. Those will be your biggest movers and your best risk to reward ratios, because 3s are typically the most impulsive, as are Cs, and Es, I mean, we got a triangle forming right here, but you have a clear entry and a clear exit for something like this. Just like on this too, you have a clear entry and a clear exit, or a stop, and you have a clear algo target to take your profit. So for something like this, you ladder in, you ride this whole wave to this -1 algo target, and just from there to there, well, say if you averaged in, we'll be right about there. Boom, 15%. It's a nice little chunk of change. Anyways, I digress. Now where are we? Now I think that we are in a triangle fourth. You can see that we broke this and we never were able to get above it. So we're still in some correction here. And now what we would do, obviously, is pull from our second through our third and see where the reactions are on these fib lines. I do this every time. If I'm uncertain of a trade, I'll start pulling fibs from what I think would be a 2 or what I think would be the end of the third or things like that, and then I'll just look to see where the reactions are. Is this the correct fib pull that is giving me good reactions at these fib levels? Is this what the algos are working with? That's what I ask myself every single time, because the algos are your whale, and you need to think of yourself as a little minnow. Actually, you need to think of yourself as the cleaning fish on a whale. You're not there to move the market. You're there to eat the scraps from whatever the whale leaves you. You're trying to get behind what the whales are doing. You're not trying to compete with them. If you're trying to compete with them, then you're an idiot. Sorry to say it, but it's true. All right, anyways. So through this, we have this 2 to the third. You pull that algo target, or you pull that fib, and you're seeing you get reactions at fib levels, which to me shows, all right, we are getting participation from this algo, which gives us a clear target up here at 64. If this is correct, this is that 2 to 3 pull. We're having a triangle fourth here. This makes the most sense to me so far, just because all this price action is kind of all over the place. you see three waves everywhere. You get ABC here, ABC here, ABC here. You'll probably get this A, B, and a C, and then you have a ABC come down to give you that E. So this is what I would be looking for to enter. You're getting clear support from this Vegas wave. Definitely watch this. Obviously, it's going to come down to what Bitcoin is doing because Bitcoin runs the market, but I think Bitcoin is going to go up just a tiny bit for a retrace. So that will give Litecoin a ton of time to make this move. Let me see what else here. I mean, there's not really much else I could say. This is going to take a little while because this is a 2-hour chart. So this looks like an A. I don't know if it's finished yet. I haven't gotten down on a micro count, which is another thing I want to cover. I've been with Trade Devils for, I don't know, roughly a year now, teaching and seeing like new traders come into the market and jump directly into the day trading channel, which is the wrong place for you to be if you're starting to trade or learn. That is the wrong place to be. You need to look at more swing trades than day trading. Before you kind of need to build up confidence that way, and also test your method, because while I think the Trade Devil method is great because it gives clarity to what is going on, each person is different. So while it might work for me, it might not work for the next guy, and that can go for any trading plan. You can call TD or price action or whatever, but you need to find what fits with you. And a lot of new people, they jump into the day trade channel and they're looking at 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute charts to try to pick off every little wave in here. And I mean, you're killing yourself by doing that. You shouldn't, in all honesty, you shouldn't be below the 2 hour, because all that is noise. Yes, I do go below it to check on divergences and also see if something like this wave right here that I said looks 3-wavy, if it could possibly be a 5. Like if there was some crazy 2 in here that was so quick that I just can't see it on these upper time frames. But if you're sticking to the 5 minute charts, you're doing yourself no favor, because that is all just garbage noise. Like look at this for example. The 2 hour looks great. You can see clear waves almost everywhere. Look at 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, hopefully a 4. But if I break this down to a 5 minute chart, this is all just gonna look like pump and dumps. Let me see. We'll go to it real quick. Look at that. You want to get price action on that? That's ugly. You're not doing yourself any favors. So as a newer trader, stick to the higher time frames. They're easier to trade, and they're the ones that are gonna give you the most I don't even know, not money. I don't want to say the most money, but the highest quality trades. Yeah, you can try to get in here and scalp garbage, but I don't know. I like to have a life. I'll set up a chart just like how I did before I left for Hawaii. I set up that chart and said, this is the trade that you want to take. Take that trade. I did a little bit of work to set that trade up, and then it just plays out by itself. I didn't have to sit here on the 1 minute to try to figure out if there's 5 waves in this one, or if there's 5 waves here or ABC here. That is not how I want to trade. And yes, I do that on the ES, but that's a completely different animal. These are giving me good swing trades. So just, if you're new to trading, try to stick to these higher time frames. Once you get better, you can dig in here all you want, day trade it all you want, but until you've put in serious time and serious effort practicing and also putting the method to use, the 5 minute is just gonna confuse you. You're gonna think everything was an impulse. You're gonna think everything was an ABC. It's just a lot of noise that, as a new trader, you shouldn't even put yourself in. But anyways, I digress again. I've kind of gone on a bunch of rants. Sorry, first video back. I'm getting back into the swing of things. All right, anyways, so we have this ABC. I obviously don't know if it is a triangle, but this is what it's looking like to me based off price action. You get ABC here, ABC here. Looks like an ABC here. And volume is decreasing throughout this triangle, which is usually pretty indicative of a triangle. Now, this can be an ABC. If you can dig out 5 waves in here, be my guess. And then we can start moving up. But the trade that I'm gonna watch, so I don't have to watch this 24/7 to figure out if I'm gonna get the right entry, is if this comes down, then comes back up to the D, and then it starts to retrace, this is the trade that I want. If you can get an A here, the B, the D, this is the trade, because a triangle trade is the best trade, I think. It's got a perfect entry and a perfect stop. For those of you that don't know, you enter on the trend line of the E, your stop is at the C. Let me do that real quick. I mean, what is this? That's not even a 1% drawdown, if these are in the correct spots wherever this is going to land, obviously. But your target is now up here. Well, first you have the -236 right there at 64, which the algos are participating, so you know that they still are working to get there. But if you're taking the triangle trade, you measure the length of A, project it from where your E will be, and usually your target is 100% of the A wave. So right around here. Now let me get one of these handy dandy long position calculators and show you just what that risk reward will look like. Our entry is here. Our stop is just a tick past the low of the C, and then our target is way up here. First target would be the 1. You got to see how all this is unfolding, but just right there, 9-to-1 trade. Those are nice trade setups, and I don't have to dig through this garbage and see, did I get 5 waves here? Did I get an ABC here? Can I pull out 5 waves here? What about here? What about here? What about here? I don't need to trade every single wave. I'm going to trade the good setups. If there's one takeaway you can take from this video, is trade the good setups and not screw around with these tiny little moves or try to trade every wave or something like that. You're doing yourself a disservice, and that's actually going against you, because you're going to lose confidence and you're not testing a method. You're trying to force a method within a small time frame, which doesn't make sense. So practice looking for these longer term trades, and I don't mean now is the best time to buy Bitcoin because in 5 years it's going to be worth $100,000. No, if you're a trader, trade the swings. Like this 3, let's see, how many days was that? This 3 was a 3-day trade. That's just from entry. So if you get this one comes up, now you're like, oh shit, this is the trade to take. Somewhere around here, I don't even know right now. But this is the trade to take. Let me put my ladders here. We know at this point, we'll say this is top. At this point, we know this is the one of some move. And we did this fib pull. This one. Looking for a 2 at the 618. It gets there. But from here, yes, you have to wait for this trade to finish. So we'll say this is what you're looking for. You waited 4 days to enter a trade that took 3 days to complete. You could have taken your profit right here at this -1 algo target. And let's see. 3 days from here to that -1 algo target. 25%. Do you want to set up your trades and make good trades and not have to micromanage them and look for a 0.5% here or 1/4% there? I mean, shit. Coinbase just raised their fees. Those guys suck. Anyways, I mean, for me, this fits my lifestyle. It might not fit yours, but I like to set up a trade like this and then go surfing or go climbing or mountain biking or something to where I don't have to sit here and stare at the chart all freaking day. So yeah, I mean, take what you will. Kind of gone off on rants, but I see it all the time with new people. They're always looking at a chart, screwing with their mind on their own count, and trying to trade 5-minute candles. It just, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Alright guys, I hope that helped. I hope there wasn't too much background noise. I put some music on because I live in a high rise, and in a city there's always traffic, so it's also hot in Hawaii. So yeah, I hope this helped and I didn't make too much of a fool of myself. Alright guys, have a good one.